They believed they knew who you were, the patient, the quiet one. They saw your calmness as submission and your silence as weakness. They ignored you, believing that you were not aware of their intentions, but they never realized that you can see through every deception and every misjudgment. Beneath that quiet exterior, there is a power they can never fully understand, a power just waiting to be unleashed. For those who have been undervalued and ignored, the time has come when they least expect it. They have no idea what will happen when the time comes to show them who you really are. They were not aware of the power that lurks within you like embers waiting for a spark. Their indifference was almost mindless, a brutality practiced with little respect or concern. They acted as if it was their right to crush your soul, as if you were worthless in their eyes, and they did so without hesitation. You were just an obstacle for them, something they could ignore without hesitation. If you are new to our channel, we sincerely welcome you to subscribe and become part of our hopeful community. By subscribing, you will join a community that shares inspiration and uplifting messages. They treated you as if you were oblivious to their humiliation, walking with naive confidence and feeding their momentary fantasies of domination. However, you were always watching, aware of every little deception and hidden action, ready to unleash a power they could never have imagined. For the unseen is eternal and the seen is temporary. You know, friends, there are moments when we encounter voices that try to dull our light and mutter things that want to rob us of our happiness, our pride, and our worth. They feel that they are in control, that they are destroying us and bringing us to our knees. Let me make it clear, though. These judgments and these words are like a shadow on the wall. They only have the authority we give them. Recognize that when others try to define you or your worth, they are only multiplying their own limits. All they are doing is revealing the limits of their own fears. They believe they know who you are, but they are not aware of your inner power. By entering 333, you can claim these benefits that will lead to more opportunities in your life, such as professional success, financial success, business success, health, and all your heart's desires. No human being can measure your power or your worth. What God has already put within you cannot be defined by anyone. And every insult they give you, every bad word they say, are not weights to pull you down. No, my friends, they are seeds. The same storm they are trying to create around you is feeding the seeds of fortitude and resilience planted deep within you. In the silence of their blindness, even though they are invisible to them, these seeds are sprouting, buried within the soul. At the appropriate time, they will grow into a powerful force they could never have anticipated. The problem is that they believe they know you. They only see your surface, but they believe you are easy to read and easy to control. They lack the tools to see the scope of what is simmering beneath you. This is where they are completely wrong, my friends. They have been so preoccupied with their own limited perspectives and fears that they have lost sight of what God has placed within you, an unquenchable spirit, a fire that no storm can quench. Their arrogance has blinded them and shielded them from the truth. So they keep trying to break you, not realizing that they are actually fanning the flames of something much bigger than themselves. This resistance, this power will one day be revealed. And when it does, those who have been doubting you and belittling you will see their mistake. They will see the power that they never thought existed and that they could never touch. They were only laying the foundation for a path that they will never see coming, a path that will ultimately lead to their own demise, even though they believe they are responsible for it. Because when you stand in the light of God and are anchored in a power that transcends this world, no weapon created against you can succeed. And this is a truth they will never understand, my friends. Therefore, despite what others say, despite their opinions and despite their doubts, hold your head high and stand tall. Allow people to believe whatever they want to believe because you are aware that your soul is eternal and created by an unlimited hand. When you are ready, type Love from 11 and forward this video to 5 believers. Comment, God is Jesus. Their interpretations come and go, but your inner power lasts forever. The illusion slowly began to crumble, not in a spectacular sudden way, but rather in a slow, inevitable disintegration of their illusion. The truth was subtle but insistent, seeping in like water discovering cracks in stone. A heavy sunlight fell upon them and brought with it a sobering conclusion. There was no great showdown or drama. Their confidence waned as their old certainty gave way to a new understanding. The smirks disappeared. The armor of superiority they previously wore gave way to uneasiness because they finally felt a power they did not recognize, beyond the limits of their naive assumptions, present and unquestionable. The power of your true worth didn't just appear. It was an unquestionable current that slowly grew with every decision you made and every step you took. In your presence, this value shone clearly, a depth they had overlooked but now could not escape. If you believe that love and faith have the capacity to overcome any obstacle, subscribe to the channel and write Amen. They were now brutally and irrevocably burdened with the consequences of their own actions. The same force that had tried to restrain you was now turning around and confronting them. Every insulting word and action had now become a force that crushed them under its own inexorable weight. They were called to account, and their misplaced confidence was shattered until only the empty shell of their self-deception remained, as if everything in the world had culminated. They no longer treat you with the same ease and firmness. All that remains is a hollow regret that consumes them, a powerlessness they never dreamed of experiencing. Now that you are unquestionably powerful, you are beyond their grasp as a force they cannot resist or comprehend. The reality they previously denied has caused their sense of control to crumble, and they have been marked since they realized the error in their judgment. They cannot come near you because your brightness is now too great for them to handle, like a flaming horizon. They suffer in the shadow of their oversight because they believed they could disregard your value without facing any repercussions. What they mistakenly believed to be weakness was actually a controlled strength quietly building in hidden depths. It was never intended that you should hide in their ignorance or be humiliated by their narrow viewpoints. This power within you was ready to emerge when it could no longer be contained. And now it crushes them with its presence as it unfolds like a powerful wave that breaks through all barriers. This reality is inescapable. It envelops and engulfs, a constant reminder of the light they tried to extinguish but failed. Now, as they try to bridge the chasm they created earlier, they may come back to you with words of comfort and reparation. Their insincere apologies have trembling tones of regret. They realize too late that they can no longer ignore your value, and the authority they believed they had has vanished, leaving them helpless and lost. Put the number 77 in the comments to let the cosmos know you are ready. But now you are beyond their reach, higher and stronger, free from the clutches of those who tried to pull you down. Their cries to regain their former influence are ignored because they are now helpless before the power that characterizes you. Your path should never have been guided by those who are too shallow to see your potential. Their deliberate actions and efforts to define you by your flaws have never succeeded in capturing the essence of who you are. Your essence, a brilliance created in areas they could never comprehend, was built above the boundaries of mediocrity. Though they tried to confine you to a world that suited their narrow perspective, you were always meant to fly, guided by forces they could not comprehend. They could never control the power they tried to suppress. They never had the right to change your course. This is your chance to meet others who share your journey, not only as friends, but as souls on the same journey towards mastery and purpose. Below, you are invited to enter a world reserved for those destined to climb beyond the ordinary. The hands that tried to imprison you never shaped you. Long before they tried to limit you, your soul was burning brightly, hidden only by the shadows they created and waiting for the right opportunity to transcend their expectations. You were never lost, never weak, and always protected. Even when others ignored or undervalued you, the invisible forces that guided you remained unwavering. Now that the truth has been revealed, this is an indisputable power. The same people who previously thought they could extinguish your light and spirit now find themselves surrounded by a fire of their own creation. They tried to extinguish your genius, but all they did was fan the fires that now reveal their delusion. The false sense of control they once clung to has now been consumed by the fire of their own recklessness, and what they did has come back to haunt them. Write "I am ready" in the comments section below, indicating that you are ready to take on any task and will welcome the benefits that will come your way. They believe that if they stayed close to your power, they would be protected from any consequences. But now that they have seen the fire they started, they realize how costly it is to try to cage you. They contributed to this burden with insensitivity, dishonesty, and betrayal, and they thought there would be no repercussions for their actions. You were just an obstacle to them, something they could ignore to further their own goals. But the universe is keeping its count. The truth that was once hidden now shines with unbridled intensity and confronts them with a force they cannot deny or escape. They are now surrounded by the fire they once foolishly started, a relentless fire fueled by the fallout from their own actions. The searing heat destroys the illusions they created and turns all manufactured comfort into dust. Their perception of power was actually a flimsy facade that crumbled under the relentless pressure of reality. They believed they could shape and control you, but in their arrogance they inadvertently set in motion a force that is now devouring them. Regret, a reminder of their own downfall, burns within them like an unquenchable ember. This searing realization is not only inevitable, but it has penetrated them and left an indelible impression. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked, for he will reap what he sows. Friends, I tell you that there are people who live their lives believing that they are immune to criticism. They build their whole existence on plans and schemes, believing that they have complete control over every possible event. They sow the seeds of deception and manipulation, thinking that they will never have to deal with the consequences. But the truth is that you cannot expect to get roses by sowing weeds. When these seeds eventually sprout, they bear a bitter, harsh, and unforgiving fruit. You see, they believed that they were safe out there, and they believed that they could control the fire and use it against you. However, they forgot that fire spreads and can turn on their playmates. They believed they could escape unharmed by starting the fire. But now, the same flames they started are coming back to haunt them, reminding them of every action they took and every lie they told. And this fire, friends, is not a quick burn. Rather, it is a gradual, relentless heat that presses down on them in the quiet times when they have nowhere to hide and no plans to distract themselves. Imagine that every choice they made and every pain they tried to cause now comes back to them as a weight, a heat that won't go away. It's an awareness they can't shake, a fire that won't go out. They used to believe they were strong and clever, but now they have to face an inescapable reality. The things they used to use to destroy you are now the bonds that hold them together, the fires that burn their minds, and they can no longer be saved by any cunning or conspiracy. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked, because you reap what you sow. Let me share with you, my friends, a story about life and the journeys we take. Each of us is a sower in the field of the world. The decisions we make sow seeds of love, honesty, and compassion, or perhaps they sow seeds of pride, greed, and dishonesty. But these seeds don't stay buried forever. No, they have a life of their own, and eventually they begin to sprout. And when they sprout, we will have to face the harvest they bear. You see, the field of life does not favor one over the other, or distinguish between right and wrong. It only brings forth what is sown. Just as the sun rises every morning, the harvest is sure to come. Some people sow their seeds in the dark, hoping to hide them from others, perhaps even from themselves. They act selfishly because they think they are immune from punishment. They believe that somehow things will be different for them, and they can avoid the consequences of their actions. But in reality, no one can escape the spaces they have created for themselves. This is a spiritual rule that is woven into the fabric of life, and this is the essence of life. And when that fruit eventually comes, they will face the consequences of every decision they make. They will not be able to choose which parts to protect. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Tell your friends about it and subscribe to get more inspiring content. Every case of injury, every moment of dishonesty, it all comes back unquestionably. And when you sow to the darkness, friends, the darkness will eventually come back to you in the light. I tell you, it is a great burden to live with. It builds up every day, it weighs on the shoulders and follows them through all the peaceful times. It is inevitable in the midst of silence. No matter how much they try to hide it, or even transform it into something else, they cannot escape the truth. It is clear as day, shining in their minds like an unquenchable flame. It is not just a warning, but a reminder for all of us to think about what we are putting into our own lives. For there is no doubt that the harvest will come, and the field will not be defrauded. The seeds we plant today, seeds of love, compassion, and forgiveness, must be carefully chosen, for they will undoubtedly come back to us and bring benefits to our lives instead of burdens. As you go about your day, my friends, keep in mind that you are not just going through life, you are sowing, and whatever you sow today will eventually be in your hands. My friends, this is a spiritual truth written by God Himself, and it is a rule of the universe. You cannot sow selfishness and expect love. You cannot sow betrayal and expect harmony. When they tried to dull your brilliance, they were only setting the stage for their own downfall. The reality of their actions is now etched in every shadow they see, and the stage is lit, the spotlight too bright to be avoided. They cannot escape the reflections that are now firmly embedded in them, and they cannot escape the fire they have started. That, my friends, is the power of truth. Uncontrollable and uncontainable. In the end, everything comes back to the same place. What has been done in secret is exposed, and while they struggle with the consequences of their decisions, you rise up unharmed and stronger than before. Because once God has laid his hand on you, no weapon designed to harm you can succeed. Their fire has always been for themselves, never for you. Suddenly they realized this. They felt every flash and every shred of the reality they were trying to hide. You have been resurrected, unaffected by their attempts to contain you. You are strong enough to break free from their grasp. They may try to hide while they fight the fire and ask you for forgiveness, not because they are truly sorry, but to put out the fire that burns inside them. They will come back with apologies and euphemisms that seem more urgent than sincere. They are desperate to escape the fire inside them, so they suffer the consequences of their behavior, but they feel no remorse. They hope that you will somehow calm things down and ease the pain of their mistake. Now, however, you can clearly see that they are not looking for real reconciliation, but for relief from the repercussions that are bothering them. Their sadness comes not from guilt, but from the enormous burden that is now consuming them. Under the guise of gentle pleas and justifications, they will try to hide their true motivations behind meaningless rhetoric in the hope that you will help them escape the situation they have created for themselves. However, you are no longer under their control, you are no longer influenced, and you are not affected by their efforts to put out the fires they themselves have started. They are only looking for an escape, not for real change. They understand that you now have the power that they tried to weaken, but could never eliminate. In an effort to lighten the burden of their own decisions, they long for the solace of your brilliance. However, they were never designed for this light. After all they have tried to steal from you, they can no longer stand in it. No matter how persuasive their arguments, guard your energy with absolute determination and do not let them cross your boundary. Their presence will only serve to upset the haven of peace you have created, as they bring with them the flames of long-forgotten goals that are waiting for a chance to flare up again. They are still clinging to the fire of their own making, but their desperation has grown. They will try to shift the blame for their decisions onto you, hoping that you will bear the consequences of their actions. But you do not have to carry these burdens. Write Amen in the comments to ask for divine help. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and forward this message to all your friends whom you want to be in God's presence and under the protection of angels. You have nothing to offer them, no refuge, no escape from the seriousness of their own actions. Claim your power and defend your own genius. If they are incapable of containing the fire they have ignited, they have no place in the warmth of your resistance. Despite their insistence that the flames have educated them and that the fire they started has changed them, there is still the same turmoil underneath their words. To allow them to return would be to welcome the chaos they bring under the guise of remorse and open the door to mayhem. They carry the embers of the past, camouflaged but ready to flare up again, and they do not change. It is not cruel to stand your ground and keep them at bay. It is a protection for your own health and the power you have worked so hard to regain. It makes them uncomfortable to see you in your power, a light they once believed they could extinguish. However, you owe them no refuge or position in the peace you have created. They have to bear the gravity of what they ignite, so let them deal with the consequences of their own actions alone. The fire of their goals burns beneath the surface, no matter how much they try to hide it. Even if they make promises of change, this destructive force is still there, unchanged and unbroken. If you allow them to get close again, you run the danger of reigniting the same turmoil that once threatened to extinguish your light. They are looking for a way out of the chaos they have created, not healing. Letting them back in will mean allowing that fire back into your life and jeopardizing the peace you have worked so hard to achieve. The truth is that these people are attracted to you not because they really need to evolve, but in an effort to escape the repercussions that are currently following them. Allowing them to return will expose you to the destruction they have not yet left behind, and your light is not something they will share. They are now in a reckoning that seems like an unstoppable fire coming at them from all sides, a judgment they believe they can avoid. It is not just sadness or regret. It is the inevitable reaction of a power greater than themselves, a reality they cannot change or compromise. Now, a light burns under the weight of their judgment, piercing through every darkness and every layer of deceptive purpose they tried to hide. Every action they have taken, every insult, every betrayal has been reckoned with by a force far beyond their control. There is no refuge here, only the sharp clarity of a power that sees through their masks and removes the mask they wear. For nothing is hidden that will not be revealed, and nothing is hidden that will not be revealed. My friends, there are times when the scales of the universe move, and all that is hidden comes to light. It is a time of reckoning for those who believe that they can act in secrecy and put self-interest above truth. At some point, they thought that their decisions would vanish into the air like fog and be forgotten. But God's justice never forgets. No, these choices do not disappear. Rather, they accumulate like a fire waiting to be ignited. And that fire is burning fiercely and inevitably around them right now. What they are igniting is the source of this heat they are experiencing, not a sporadic pain or momentary discomfort. They are standing in front of a light that perceives every deceptive expression and every ulterior motive. They cannot pass it off with an apology or dismiss it as a human punishment. No, this is a true balance of scales, a sacred weight. It is clearly not a punishment, rather, it is the inevitable consequence of their own choices, of a fire they have fanned within themselves. Knowing that no escape can save them, they must now endure it, absorbing every ounce of its heat. They can now try to turn back to escape the flames that follow them wherever they go. Your kind words and gentle actions are their cry to find peace close to you in the hope that your friendship will lighten their burden. But remember that they are not asking for forgiveness. Rather, they are seeking protection from the consequences of their own actions. If you are new to our community, please make sure you don't miss any of our daily videos by subscribing, liking, and sharing. If these words have blessed you, please say Amen. They think your light will protect them from the violence of the fire they started, but they are the only ones who have to deal with it. Bringing them back into your life would mean allowing this simmering turmoil to enter your carefully guarded peace because it is the result of their decisions. You cannot deal with this fire. Empty apologies are not acceptable on the path of spiritual balance, nor are gestures enough to deflect it. They can pretend to have changed, to have repented, but the burden they carry cannot just disappear. They have to deal with their own decisions, and taking them back will only make things worse for you and jeopardize everything you are trying to rebuild. Second chances are not an option here. The weight of that fact now rests with forces outside of us who see their actions and assess their motivations. They cannot escape their repercussions or be silenced by your forgiveness. Their efforts to return are driven by a desire to distance themselves from their current environment rather than a sincere desire for change. This fire is their lesson and their reckoning. Every spark, every rising flame is a reflection of their own choices and actions. The fact that they are lost in this fire is a test they must find their own way through. They cannot extinguish this fire by taking solace in your presence because this is a reality that only they have to face. It is their inner journey, and you don't have to guide it or carry the fire. It is not for you to bear it. To bear this burden, which is already too heavy to carry, is to compromise your own freedom. Remember that trying to re-establish their presence will only draw their problems and chaos back into your sacred space. Having freed yourself from this chaos in the past, returning to the same vortex will only undermine your growth and peace of mind. Their comfort and sharing of your light is not your responsibility. Your light is a gift you have earned through hardships and struggles. You don't have to let anyone come and take a piece of it. To dedicate your light to the darkness of others is to compromise your own value. But your light is for yourself and for those who really appreciate you and try to understand you. The fire they started is still burning. Those who are consumed in these flames have only to face the consequences of their own choices. Their comfort or inner peace cannot be provided by your self-sacrifice. They are the only ones who can deal with the consequences of their decisions. Because a true transformation is not possible with the help of someone else, but with the truth seen in the mirror of one's own mistakes. You must stand firm in this process. Do not allow them to enter your space or shake your peace of mind, because your journey does not have to be a part of their chaos anymore. You have grown, you have become stronger, and you are standing tall with your light. They too must face these flames and learn the lessons of their journey. This is their responsibility, not yours. The others have to face the path they have chosen for themselves and the consequences it brings. This is an inescapable reality. Man reaps what he sows, and this is a universal equation. When they have to bear the responsibility for their choices, you can remain steadfast and firm in the peace you have earned. This peace is your well-deserved reward. It is a harbor you have reached by fighting storms and passing through fires. Don't let anyone shake it. Stay true to yourself and to the resilience you have shown in the past. Let them face the fire they started. This fire is not your task. It is the fulfillment of justice, not cruelty or revenge. Justice requires one to face one's own mistakes and their consequences. They have to pay for what they have done, and it has to happen without your intervention. They must now face the consequences of their own actions alone, without any help. This process may be their awakening, or it may result in their withdrawal, but it is their journey, not yours. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel to help spread even more positivity. You have no duty to lessen the intensity of their shame or ease their pain. This is not a burden that you have to shoulder. You have already paid more than enough to go your own way. The truth you represent is a light too bright for them to withstand. This light contradicts their own darkness. It disturbs them because this truth reminds them of the truths they have been running away from. But that is not your responsibility. To diminish your truth or to extinguish your light would be a sacrifice just to make them feel comfortable, and that sacrifice is no longer necessary. You remain steadfast in your own peace, in your own truth. Because this is necessary not only for you, but also for building the future that you deserve. Go back to yourself and appreciate the courage you have shown in this process. Because true freedom is being able to move forward on your own path without any other burden. Let them struggle with their own guilt. It is a burden that only they have to bear. A reminder that comes at them every second, consuming their being, gnawing them from within. You do not have to be drawn into this vortex they have created. There is no gratitude or understanding that you are owed in their lives. They deserve neither your presence nor your patience. Facing the weight of what they have put you through in the past is their test, not yours. To go back would be to step back into the flames from which you have already barely escaped. Offering them a way out by burning yourself once again will only consume you and prevent them from changing. Those who create their own chaos and drown in it can only learn something when they see the true face of that chaos. You do not have to save them. Do not be affected by the shadows they try to cast over you, because these shadows are but a reflection of their own darkness. This darkness they are trying to drag you into is a product of their weakness. You are not someone who will be lost in this darkness. The light you carry within you is more valuable than carrying the weight of the past. Do not underestimate the power you have. Stand tall with that power. Do not let the guilt of others be your chain. Your own freedom lies in not being a part of their drama. Your life is being shaped now and in the future, not in the past. Remember yourself, remember your power, and move forward. Because this path is your salvation. It is your responsibility to aggressively protect what they are trying to stifle and what has become a light so bright that they can no longer stand. As they crumble under the weight of their decisions, you rise higher and higher. They can no longer approach your light because everything they tried to ignore is revealed by the brilliance of your light. This is your chance to be an example of eloquence and perseverance. We have come to the end of this video. If you found value in this message, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us reach more people and spread this empowering message. Join our community, and let's continue this journey together. See you in our next video. Goodbye.